The morning's sunlight fell through the lace curtains in soft, uneven stripes across the living room. I sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded, phone lying face up on the coffee table. My fingers itched to pick it up, but I hesitated. There was a subtle tension in the air, a quiet anticipation that made the simple act of looking at the screen feel heavy. Finally, I unlocked it. A message blinked at the top of the screen. "You're fired. Consider it my gift to you." The sender's name was unmistakable, a single line, a few words meant to sever, humiliate, assert dominance. Yet I let it sit there, unsaid, unacknowledged for the moment. The words carried weight, but they were fragile outside of my reaction. I looked away, noticing the soft hum of the morning birds calling outside, the distant echo of laughter from the garden where our friends and family were already gathering. I turned to my husband. He was adjusting a cufflink, his expression quiet, unreadable. When our eyes met, he smiled. Not a smile for the world, but one that landed squarely between us, private and knowing. Small as it was, it shifted something in me. There was no need for words in that instant. The balance of power tilted in a way that was subtle but undeniable. Memories rose unbidden, not as a storm, but as fragments, the overlooked presentations, the muted applause for ideas credited to others, the casual interruptions during meetings, the polite dismissal of accomplishments that should have mattered. None of it had felt monumental at the time, just background noise. But now, when weighed against this message, those minor betrayals accumulated into a slow, pressing gravity I had endured, absorbed, and often suppressed. But each slight had prepared me to recognize the leverage I hadn't realized I carried. I considered replying immediately, sending a message in anger, perhaps confronting her directly. But each option felt performative. Any overt reaction would only confirm her belief that she still controlled the narrative. Instead, I exhaled and let my composure anchor me. Silence became its own strategy. The garden outside was alive with the wedding morning's usual chaos, flowers being adjusted, small conversations buzzing, a child's laugh echoing through the terrace. I moved through it as though it were ordinary, letting the world believe nothing had changed. Polite smiles, subtle nods, brief acknowledgments, my exterior betrayed nothing of the storm inside. And yet, internally, I felt something shifting, a quiet empowerment that did not need to be announced. The phone buzzed again. Another missed call. Then another. 47 by the time I checked. Each notification was a pulse, a reminder that she had misjudged not only me, but the situation entirely. Her assumed control, once so palpable, was slipping away in small, undeniable increments. Throughout the day, I noticed the contrast sharply. Wedding guests laughed, congratulated us, offered small gifts. Polite conversations brushed against my awareness like the surface of water, calm and untroubled. And beneath it all, I felt the weight of observation. Her observation, of course, though indirect. It was clear now she had expected drama, perhaps tears, perhaps immediate submission. Instead, she got calm, quiet presence. That in itself was a form of leverage. My husband remained beside me, steady, supportive, never intrusive. His quiet confidence allowed me to occupy my own space, to carry my own authority. It wasn't his power, it was mine, reflected in the trust he offered. That small smile from hours before replayed in my mind, an anchor I could return to each time doubt threatened to creep back in. A few subtle interactions punctuated the day. A conversation with the florist, adjusting the seating chart with the wedding planner, responding to guests' congratulations. Each was ordinary, but in juxtaposition with the underlying tension. They highlighted how composed I had become. The energy of betrayal no longer dictated my movements. It was background, a note in a larger, deliberate symphony of calm. By mid-afternoon, the first tangible signs of consequence appeared. A whispered conversation among distant relatives hinted at a minor financial misstep on her part. Later, another message, this one indirect, through a mutual acquaintance, confirmed it. One of her investments had faltered, and the financial loss was real. Not catastrophic in itself, but undeniable. It was the first concrete evidence that control, once assumed absolute, could be challenged and overturned without spectacle, without dramatic confrontation. I observed it quietly, letting the reality settle around me, feeling neither triumph nor vindictiveness, only clarity. The late afternoon passed in a blur of routine moments, laughter echoing in the garden, the photographer capturing smiles, the band adjusting their instruments. Each sound, each movement, grounded me in the day's ordinariness. And yet, beneath that normalcy, I carried a private awareness of the subtle reversal unfolding. The power she had tried to wield had dissolved into consequence, and I had not had to lift a finger. By evening, the reception had slowed, the energy settling into gentle hums of conversation and soft music. I found a moment alone with my husband, away from the remaining guests. The room was warm, lit by low lamps that softened the edges of the day. I reflected on the morning's events, the text, the internal turbulence, the gradual unfolding of consequence, and felt an unexpected serenity. The empowerment I had gained was quiet, almost imperceptible, yet undeniable. The final missed call notifications remained unchecked, a deliberate act. I did not need to know the details. The outcome was already clear. The day had ended, not with spectacle or dramatic vindication, but with subtle internal recalibration. The betrayal had shifted the dynamic, not through overt retaliation, But through presence, patience, and the careful use of composure as leverage, as we stepped outside to watch the sun dip toward the horizon, I held his hand, feeling the warmth and weight of the day finally settle. Betrayal, empowerment, subtle consequences, all of it had passed through, leaving behind clarity and calm. I didn't need applause, acknowledgement, or revenge. The quiet authority I carried within myself was sufficient. We lingered together, the world turning around us, voices and laughter fading into the soft evening. I realized that the power to respond, the strength to remain composed, and the ability to let natural consequences unfold were victories in themselves. Not dramatic, not performative, but solid, tangible, and real. For the first time in months, perhaps years, I felt unshakably calm. The wrong done to me had been corrected not through fury or spectacle, but through quiet observation, deliberate restraint, and the subtle, undeniable recognition of the leverage I had always carried. I didn't celebrate, I didn't announce it. I simply existed in the clarity of what had shifted, and it was enough.